If you're a leader, you've probably tried just about everything to motivate your team, right? Bonuses, competitions, the occasional pizza party. But what if I told you that most of those classic moves are based on a pretty outdated idea of what actually makes people tick? Today, we are going to get into how you can architect a much better way.
So let's just start with the question that probably keeps a lot of leaders up at night. You know the drill, you roll out this big, exciting new plan, you get this little spike of energy, and then poof, it just kind of fizzles out. You're left standing there thinking, wait, why didn't that work? Why didn't it stick? It's a super common frustration, so if that's you, you are definitely not alone.
And here's the thing, the problem usually isn't about a lack of effort. The real breakthrough happens when we stop trying to just force motivation on people and start working with the grain of human nature itself. It's this shift from brute force to, a smarter, more subtle design that's based on how our brains are actually wired. All right, so that brings us to our first big idea. For decades, the whole carrot and stick model has been the go-to for managers. But as we're about to see, just relying on rewards and punishments, well, it has some pretty serious limits, especially in the modern workplace. And you can really see the difference here. On the left, you've got the traditional method. It's all about those external pushes and pulls. And sure, it can work for a little while, but it often gets you compliance, not real commitment. Now, the behavioral method on the right, that's different. It's about creating an environment where people want to engage, where that drive comes from the inside. It's the difference between a temporary sugar rush and real, sustainable energy. So, okay, if we want to get to that real, intrinsic drive, we need a new toolkit. And that new toolkit comes from this amazing field called behavioral economics, but applied specifically to the art of leadership.
So what exactly does that mean? Well, to put it simply, using behavioral economics as a leader is all about becoming an architect. It means using these proven insights about why we do the things we do to carefully design a workplace where doing great work just feels like the most natural and rewarding thing to do. This isn't some kind of trick, it's a science.
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it. This is not about manipulating people. It's about finding that sweet spot where what the company needs to achieve aligns perfectly with what feels good and makes sense for your team. When you hit that alignment, you unlock this powerful, self-sustaining engine for engagement.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Well, in this section, we're going to get super practical. We're going to look at the actual blueprint, the concrete steps you can take to start being an architect of motivation for your own team.
So, you can break the whole process down into 3 pretty clear, manageable steps. First, what exactly is the goal? What's the outcome you're after? Second, what are the key human behaviors that are going to get you there? And third, how can you design an initiative that makes those behaviors not just possible, but easy? For instance, let's say your goal is better knowledge sharing. A key behavior is just getting people to contribute to a shared resource hub. So, to design for that, you could use a principle like social proof. Instead of just saying, please contribute, you could say, hey everyone, 75% of the team has already shared one valuable resource this month. See how that small tweak makes contributing feel like the normal, expected thing to do?
Now, a great blueprint is just a piece of paper without a construction crew to build it, right? A brilliant motivational design needs a solid plan to bring it to life. This next part is all about how you turn that strategy into your team's everyday reality. It sounds so simple, but honestly, this is the part that gets overlooked all the time. The difference between a strategy that totally transforms a team and one that's forgotten in a week, it's the action plan. It has to be detailed, and it has to be woven into the very fabric of how you lead every single day.
So what does a solid action plan actually look like? Well, it's way more than just sending a launch email. It means thinking about your own daily habits as a leader. It means having a crystal clear checklist for implementation, a real strategy for how you're going to keep the momentum going, and, of course, a thoughtful plan for the rollout itself.
And finally, we've got the step that closes the loop. How do you know if this whole thoughtfully designed initiative is actually working? You have to measure it. And more importantly, you have to measure the stuff that truly matters.
You'll really see the success of these kinds of initiatives show up in 3 key areas. 1, are you seeing real, tangible improvements in performance? 2, is your team telling you that they're more satisfied? And 3, are you noticing a positive shift in the overall workplace culture? These are your new KPIs.
And this right here, this is what that success can look like in the real world. I mean, imagine seeing your team's satisfaction jump from, say, 55% all the way up to 85% after you put one of these plans in place. That's not just a feel-good metric. That is a powerful indicator of better attention, better collaboration, and better performance. This is the kind of tangible result you get when you architect motivation the right way.
Look, if you take only one thing away from our time together, please let it be this. Stop trying to manage motivation like it's some item on a checklist. Instead, shift your whole mindset to being an architect. Your job is to design the environment, the processes, and the culture where motivation can just naturally show up and thrive.
So, as we wrap up, I'm just going to leave you with this question to think about. You don't need some massive, complicated overhaul to get started. Think small. Based on everything we've talked about, what is one single behavioral idea you could try with your team starting tomorrow to make doing the right thing just a little bit easier?